Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to cover AMC. This is the daily stock update on AMC. I've been covering it and GameStop every single day via the live or on this specific video. So today we're going to be covering the overall potential bullish case for the stock. However, I do see it coming down to $4.70, $4.80 in the very short term. So I do want to point that out first. That does not mean there is no potential upside for this stock. However, I just want to make that very clear here in the beginning. I also want to cover the short interest rates that were given out. Now, these most likely are falsified and completely manipulated by the market. So that's a 100% worth noting that yes, they can release this information. It can be false, and the SEC basically just gives them a slight slap on their wrist. That is it. Before we get into that content, I need you to do one thing and one thing only. Hit that sub button down below, leave a thumbs up, and have the notifications turned on, because I'm not only posting videos regarding AMC, I'm finding the next AMC stock that's blowing up every single day here on this channel, and I am posting videos every single day about the stocks that I am trading and the stocks you guys request as well. Let's not waste any more time. Let's get to it. Now, when we talk about AMC, automatically the thing that comes to mind is the short squeeze. Can this continue? Is it possible? I want to say one thing. Yes, it's completely possible we do continue. In the very short term, the next 5 days, will we continue? Most likely not. The data that's been released is terribly bearish, but like I said, it's highly manipulated by the big names and big hedge funds out there. Now, they can release false data, and it's about a $190K slap on the wrist overall fee. Now, let's say that you're a hedge fund and there's a chance you're going to lose millions of dollars on a stock if you release the correct numbers and retail starts dumping their money back in. Would you not release falsified data? I probably would. See, that's what's going on right now, and you kind of have no control over what's really true and what's false. Now, the probability that AMC short interest dropped from 78% overall down to 15.7% is absolutely ludicrous. We're going to look at those short interest rates here in a second, but I just want to make this very clear that there is a high probability, and I do believe this was manipulated. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is right here, the short interest. I'm going to highlight it just so you guys can see right there, 15.7, and then as we zoom out, you can see it's AMC. So yes, this is absolutely terrible. And then if we actually go take a look at GameStop, I mentioned this as well yesterday. It's sitting a little bit higher, doesn't look quite as bad. You can see it's 78.46 right here. So that looks still pretty high. That's very high for short interest. There's a high possibility GameStop does short squeeze here in the next few weeks, as well as that short squeeze as that short interest continues to ramp up, because it's not going to go down, it's going to continue to go up. So the thing with AMC, I believe that's sitting about 58 to 60% overall, still very high. The probability that we dropped around 70% in short interest over the course of 2 weeks, where GameStop drops less than 50%, is very unlikely. So we need to take that into account. So looking at AMC just one more time, it's not adding up. The short to volume ratio is so low. It's about 20% overall. And then you have the short interest at 15.7. The numbers don't add up here. And I want to make that very clear. If you're hearing your question is, Tyler, do I sell? What do I do? I'm down X amount of my portfolio. I can't give you that answer. I'm not a financial advisor, but looking at what's going on, it's looking like this is pure manipulation. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying what's going on, it's wrong. So that's my consensus about this. I do want to look at the charts. I want to spend some time there. There's no real articles we can cover. It is worth mentioning that those Wanda stocks that were converted from Class B to Class A have not been sold yet. There's no information about those being sold. So that is positive news overall as well. And it doesn't really make sense for them to sell at this point. If they sold, it would have been above like $10, something like that. Now, could AMC be holding that information from us? Not really. They couldn't be holding that from us, because that's public information, and we would have saw that sell order go through. Maybe not from their name, but we would have saw that position leave the company. So I do believe that there is some bullish consensus behind this. Am I buying it at this level? No way. I'll mention where I'm buying it here in a second. So let's get into the charts. Okay, so as we look at the chart, there's a few things that I do want to cover. This buy zone right here, this blue box, is where I see us coming here in the next day or two. $4.7 to $4.8. Now, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but this is the truth, and this is just what I see happening. We did get a push up to this level right here. This was a key resistance, as you can see on the OBV, and we were immediately shot back down. That looks pretty terrible if you ask me. However, we're still holding this overall bottom on the OBV, which does look fairly positive. So what I'm expecting to see is some breakdown coming down and then seeing a bounce on this level back up, maybe to $6 overall. And we're going to see the traction that we're getting. And maybe, just maybe, they release the correct numbers and we get some clarity on that information. The stock market does also look like it's about to get a retracement. The Nasdaq, SPX, all that's good stuff. It looks like it's about to get pulled back as well. So it's worth noting the last time we did get a pullback on the indexes, the short squeezes all happened at the same time. So that could be a bullish lineup as well. So I do want that to point out. And, we're getting some decent buys. We're seeing some, hedge funds putting some money into the stock. We're seeing volume kick back into it. And then yesterday we saw the volume finally kick up for the first time in about 7 days. So we're seeing some good stuff overall with AMC. But on the short term, this is what I am expecting right here. Some downside to this 4.7, 4.8 marker. Now, I don't mean to just be negative, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to give you my overall aspect and opinion on where we're going. But Tyler, does this mean that we're dumping down to oblivion and we're going to be worthless? Absolutely not. Do I believe the short squeeze is over? It doesn't necessarily mean it's over. We haven't got the real information, and there's about a 99.99% chance that the information given to the people is 100% falsified. The fact that we got a 15.7 is absolutely ludicrous. If we would have got maybe a 40%, I would have believed it. But the fact of where we're getting pushed down to is absolutely insane, and I don't buy it. I don't buy what's happening. We didn't even get major sell-offs from the big companies like Wanda and BlackRock. They actually bought some stock. BlackRock ended up dumping more money into the stock, so that's worth noting. But I do want to point out, I don't see us holding this range right now. I want to see a clear push back down here. And honestly, after this 4.7, 4.8, I will consider buying some stock just to see what happens on the push back up, because there is a high possibility that the information gets released once these hedge funds feel a little bit more comfortable about their positions. But if the number comes out very strong, there's a high possibility the Wall Street bet players move their money back into this. They've just made their money back on Sundial and these other weed stocks. So we've seen massive runs on those. So there's a potential they have some money in their pockets to dump retail money back into this stock. So that's what I see overall. So let's review what I'm talking about with AMC. Things don't look great in the short term, but in the long term, there's a chance. I'm saying the fact that we're getting everything falsified to us, the SEC, we have to hope that they eventually step in and demand that they give us the right information and stop slapping them on the wrist with these small, tiny fees. Now, compared to me and you, those look like big fees, but I'm telling you, when you have hundreds of millions of dollars at risk, 190K is nothing. That is absolutely nothing. We saw billions of dollars lost on GameStop stock with these short squeezes for these hedge funds, and they do not want a part two, so it makes 100% sense what's going on right here. Now, that 4.7, 4.8, I do see us getting a bounce at that range. Anything under 4.5 is pretty much an immediate buy also, because I think we're going to get some type of dead cat bounce if we do push down that low. I don't think that Wall Street Bet and retail will not start playing that stock. That's just me thinking outside the box, and I do think that it's a high probability, not just a possibility. It's a high probability. So I do like that price range on AMC. Also, we're, like I said, the big names sitting in there, Wanda, BlackRock, they're still holding their positions. They haven't released those positions yet. So even if they converted, like I said, and there's a high possibility they want to sell, they have incentive to sell, I don't think they sell this low. Maybe if we get a $10 push, then you would be kind of worried maybe these guys start pulling their positions out and start taking some profits. You never know. Like I said, before an acquisition play gets announced, anything like that, they're going to want this stock to drop as low as possible. I'm talking about Netflix and Amazon, if they even make an offer on this company. Those are all rumors right now as well. But in the short term, is a short squeeze still possible? Against my better judgment, I have to say yes, it is, just based on the information that has not been released to us. We don't know, and it's completely falsified. And since they're falsifying the information, it leads me to believe that the hedge funds are worried about another short squeeze. The hedge funds are worried about what could happen. So if they're worried about what could happen, it obviously has to be a possibility. Now, I'm not just trying to be a full bull, and I'm not a full bull here. I'm not buying at this level. If we drop more to 4.7, 4.5, that's where I'll be buying, targeting like a $6 to $7 push. Maybe we go higher. Maybe we get that volume kick in and I'll readjust my position. I'll be live, so you can ask me there as well. But overall, right now, that's what I'm looking at on the stock. If you have any questions, ask down below, and I will try to answer as fast as possible. That's going to wrap up this video. If you got anything out of it, make sure you hit that like button down below, hit that sub, and have the notifications turned on. I'm posting videos every single day regarding the stocks that I am trading and the stocks that you guys request. Have a good one, guys. Namaste.